Hi, I kind of feel like I need to reintroduce myself to the world because I haven't been on here for a while. My name is Lauren Cooper. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story because I'm starting all over again from scratch, zero, and I'm going to build my business from nothing to six figures and take you guys along on the journey. Before we get into that, maybe I'll start driving. I'm in my car, I'm driving up to the office, and we can talk about kind of what brought me here, how I got to this place of starting all over again, and all that. So I apologize for not looking at you guys too much, but I'm driving, so I want to be safe. Anyway, here's the story. About almost 2 years ago, my wife at the time, and that's another part of the story, a big part of it, and my three kids decided to have a bit of an adventure, change things up. And where we live just north of Toronto, we lived in East Gwillimbury actually, and in Ontario, Canada. And I've been a real estate agent since 2012, full-time, busting my butt, and I did pretty well. I even got into some coaching and training because I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed helping other people succeed. All right. I was, however, feeling burnt out from politics, inflation, a whole bunch of other reasons, but I just needed a change, and we all did. We decided to make a change. Cutting the story short to how we wound up with the decision to go to the Dominican Republic, we did make the decision to go to the Dominican Republic and North Coast, Puerto Plata. So we sold everything, sold the house, sold the cars, sold all our stuff, just got rid of it, gave a lot of it away, and moved. And I know it sounds kind of crazy. A lot of people talk about that. But we just decided to do it, thinking, what's the worst that can happen? Well, it was a great experience. But while I was there, I basically dropped my business here. I didn't do anything with it. I had built up, like I said, a multi-six-figure business, real estate, full-time, and just sort of let that go to pursue other things, other projects. One of those projects was, while I was gone, I decided to get into some great opportunities for development, property development there, and other real estate related things, because obviously that's my skill set. But I also decided to write a book. And if you know me, you might think that's crazy, because I definitely did, because I'm not a writer by any means. However, I really struggled my first 2 years in real estate to get my business off the ground. And maybe that's why I had a soft spot in my heart for other struggling agents, new agents that were kind of having a difficult time finding their success. So I wrote a book, and I was struggling with the idea of, what do I call this book? What's the different angle to take? What's not the usual, how to make $1 million in real estate, yada, yada, yada. And I realized I did have a kind of a unique angle and a different story, because I didn't approach things the same way that most other people do. I had different goals. Growing up, I know I'm jumping around in my story a lot, but hopefully it'll make sense. Growing up without a father, my father passed away when I was 12 years old, and I had a series of deaths in the family from my teens, and it was a pretty depressing time looking back at it. Having said that, the reason why I bring it up is, when I had a family of my own, I decided to make that a priority, and I wanted to be there for my kids. I wanted to be able to take them to school, pick them up, be involved in their activities and events and all these things, and be there to support them and experience what a real full family life would be like. So I structured my real estate business around that. Of course, in the first 2 years, I was just busting my butt around the clock, and my kids were super, super, super young, and I was kind of in a panic mode, and I'll get into that in another video, so this video doesn't take forever, as to kind of how I got dropped into real estate and why. But needless to say, I did find my success after 2 years of struggling, and third year hit it pretty big and kind of kept going from there. Which brings us to feeling burnt out for, again, after the pandemic and all these other things, wanting a change, and then writing this book. And this book was basically my journey to success and how others should learn from my mistakes and my successes. While I'm completing this book, here's the kicker. my wife and I, let's say, come to a point where we are no longer going to be together. We realize that we don't agree with each other's ways of thinking and decision making, and I'm being very generous when I say this, but I'm obviously not going to go into too much personal detail here, other than to say that I am no longer with her, and her and my kids have decided to stay there, and there's a whole bunch of back and forth, but anyway, I am here because I now have to support me, my life, and them and their life. And the best way to do that is to jump back into what I know best, which is real estate. So I'm going to take you guys on my journey, because technically here I have sold 0 houses in the last 2 years, I'd say. Maybe 1, 2, 3 tops. Certainly last year, for the last year, 0. So I am starting from scratch, just like many of you are if it's day one in the business. The difference being I do have a little bit of a database, though I've let it fall apart. I haven't followed up with people. I was really prepared to let that part of my life go. Having time and perspective, I'm getting back into it, and I'll take you guys on that journey with me as to kind of step one, day one, what you should do to find success as a real estate agent. A lot of people online will talk. There are different channels and people saying, oh, you know, the insight that you don't necessarily have when these people find their success or whatever it is they're already successful, they're already making a ton of money, they don't know what it's like these days, it's different. Well, guess what? I'm doing it now live with you. You're going to see the ups and downs and all arounds, all the mistakes and the failures and the successes as I go. Again, the benefit being that I have the experience, so I know what works. Generally speaking, I know what works, what doesn't work, and I have a way. Again, in my book, I laid out a plan. I'm going to follow that plan, sort of to show you guys that this can work for you as well, and maybe to help motivate everyone. You know, I had a vision of creating a community and kind of a coaching platform, and I may still do that, but as it is right now, I basically want to prove that this works for everyone. So this is the best way to do it. I had to buy a car when I got back here because I had sold my car. I am back in Canada now. Sold my car, sold my house, sold everything. So I am starting literally from 0, rebuilding my life. The title of the book, or the working title of the book, which you might find funny, is The Happy Real Estate Agent. And I've put that on the shelf, obviously, for the last several months while I was working out all of these challenges in my personal life, because I felt like, well, I'm certainly not happy right now, but I've worked my way through all of that, and that's sort of the fast forward button. I did a lot of work to do that, but I am in a good place right now, and I was in a good place before, so it is authentic. And I do think it's important to really state that people burn out in this business, and it's a really common thing that happens with real estate agents, because we don't necessarily, historically, aren't known for planning for the future, even planning for things like taxes and all of that. So, and retirement, and like you ask a real estate agent, when are you planning on retiring? Basically when they're dead, which is kind of sad. So I think there's more to building a real estate business than just the business part of it, just money. There has to be a reason for it. You have to have something that keeps you going personally, you know, whether that's family, personal passions, projects, hobbies, friends, whatever the case may be. You have to have something deeper and more meaningful inside you, and give time and commit time to developing that as well. Because what's that phrase? You shouldn't live to work, you should work to live, I believe. Work should be there to support your life. You shouldn't be living for work. I'm not telling you guys how to live. Do what you want to do, and if you don't relate to that, then go find someone else who's all about hustle culture and burning yourself out. But I think you need to find a balance. So I'm going to proceed to build this business with you guys, kind of step by step, while still having a balance in my life. I am a father. I have 3 kids. I have to maintain a relationship with them. And it's difficult because it's now an international relationship, so That's even more of a challenge. I do have other projects and passions. I was a former professional musician, and I still love playing music, guitar and singing. Play a little bit of bass and bang away at the drums and piano very badly, but mainly I'm a guitar player and a singer. So I love doing that. That's a part of my life. I recently picked up salsa dancing. I used to do some kickboxing. Again, that's something that I want to bring back in my life. So these are all things that are important to me, and I want to balance that along with making a full-fledged effort to succeed in this business and to show you guys that you can have a full, well-rounded life, not just be completely obsessed with real estate. Don't get me wrong, it's going to take a concerted effort and a lot of time. And in this business, if you're new to this business or you're struggling in this business, number one, you're not alone because the market's been kind of crap for the last little while. But number two, realize that there is kind of a lead path, kind of a runway to get going. And typically the actions that you take now won't have an immediate effect unless you get lucky, and that does happen, but it won't have an immediate effect until typically 90, 120 days down the road. So you have to be prepared to know that the work that you're doing now is going to pay off tomorrow. And if you get too busy to do the right things on a day-to-day basis, that's when people start to see that roller coaster ride of ups and downs in this business, which is very, very common. So you want to make sure that you maintain a consistency, and you do that in a healthy way, healthy for you emotionally, mentally, and for your wallet as well, your bank account. So I just wanted to touch base, let you guys know that I've been kind of off the grid for a while on this channel. Some of you that have already watched some episodes, you can go into past episodes where I was interviewing some of the most successful agents around North America on how they built their business. I really enjoyed that. I enjoy networking, and that's still going to be a part of my strategy in terms of building my business and going forward, just because that's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy learning about how other people succeed, and learning from others' mistakes and sharing that with you. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. This is just a quick introduction. I am going to take you through kind of day one, step one, the overall plan of, okay, this is what you do, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. This is the order you do it. This is how you do it. We're going to go step by step. I'm going to show you everything that I'm doing to build my business from 0 to 6 figures within this year. And the date currently, I think it's February 2nd. So February 2nd, 2025. But here we go. Let's go on this journey together. If you guys are starting or struggling in real estate, I'd love to hear your story in the comments down below. I know there are people that have reached out to me for several of my videos because I've sort of left my information out there, asking me advice on Mojo Dialer, cold calling, door knocking, all these things that I was doing on a regular basis in the past. And I love hearing from you guys. So continue to reach out. I love the support. Follow along for the story, and I'll see you guys on the next video really soon. Bye.